If you remember, oh gosh, 15 years ago when the hurricane went through Honduras and just devastated that country. It just so happened that the senior Mrs. Coors was personal friends with a lady from Texas who had married the president of Honduras. And she called her and she said, "Can we bring medical supplies?" And she said, "Well, yeah, but in addition, what we really need are things for the babies. We need Pedialyte, all that kind of stuff. We need diapers. We need everything for the babies." And so she told me about that. And I said, "Okay, if you'll get your sons to let me use the Lear, we can stuff an awful lot of diapers and medications in that airplane." And she said, "Okay, I'll find out." And so she called her sons, who basically controlled the operation of the airplane. And they agreed. And were willing to make donations themselves to purchase the medical supplies. Well, they didn't have to do that because the medical community donated everything that was needed. And the next thing you know, other corporations in the Denver area began making donations. And I said, "Oh, Lordy, we got more stuff than we can carry." And I told my wife and the scheduling lady for the Gates Rubber Company, I said, "I got to fly a trip, but why don't y'all call around, make a few calls, see if there aren't some other corporate flight departments that can let us use their airplanes for a day." I took off on this trip and I came back a couple of days later. We had 5 other corporate jets. And one of them was a Canadair Challenger, which is a good-sized airplane. We filled each airplane so that there was only room for the crew, and a TV crew was able to go down on the big airplane. My wife got to go in my airplane. And it was amazing that in Tegucigalpa, they watched Channel 9 News out of Denver. And so while we're out on the ramp loading all these airplanes and getting ready to go, the people in Honduras are sitting there watching us go through all these preparations. And so I had briefed all the air crews, said we're going to stop in Brownsville and fill up on gas so we don't have to take any of theirs, because they were using their military helicopters to get across the river to take supplies out to the outlying towns. That's the only way they could do it. So we didn't want to use any of their gas. And so, we land in Brownsville, and there's TV crews there, getting a shot of all these airplanes coming in together. Got turned around, cleared customs, and away we go. And Tegucigalpa is not the easiest airport in the world to get into. In fact, it is one of the 10 most difficult. But no, in our little corporate airplanes, we didn't really have that much of a problem. It was very successful, and this lady news reporter took my wife with her, and they went downtown and looked at that river and the flooding and the mud. And the mud had just brought everything to a halt. It was unbelievable. And finally they got back to the airport, and away we go. And landed at Brownsville, tanked up, and flew on back to Denver. And I think in my whole career of flying, that was one of the most satisfying missions I ever flew. It was right up there at the top. I think it's just as strong as the push. But it was a good thing that happened.